There's a dangerous illness that spreads across the world, particularly in modern, busy societies. We've given it a noble, respectable name, and that name is worry. A mother prepares dinner while thinking, "I'm so worried about my child's future." A father sits with his coffee, takes a deep breath and says, "You need to worry about your career, or society will crush you." A coworker texts, "I'm stressed about keeping my job." We've transformed excessive thinking, keeping our minds in mental torture 24/7, into a sign of responsibility and seriousness. In our culture, the person who looks most troubled, most anxious, most burdened, we consider them the most dedicated and responsible. If someone is laughing, living peacefully, we say, "You don't worry about anything," as if not worrying is a sin. But the truth is the complete opposite. Excessive thinking isn't strength or responsibility. It's a parasite silently hollowing out your peace, your health, and your soul. When Joseph Murphy wrote his famous book, he dropped an intellectual bomb on traditional psychology. What he revealed shocked experts and doctors worldwide. He revealed a truth about reality that sounds strange at first, but if you truly understand it, it completely transforms your life. He wrote, "A person never suffers because of actual circumstances, events, financial problems, or how others treat them. A person always suffers in the furnace of thoughts created in their mind about those circumstances and events." Let me explain this in a modern, relatable way. Imagine it's a scorching summer day in New York or London. The pavement is melting. There's no breeze. Car horns are blaring. Exhaust fumes sting your eyes. A motorcyclist sits at a red light, drenched in sweat. Behind him, an impatient driver in an expensive car keeps honking aggressively, as if the honking will turn the light green immediately. Now, in this exact same moment, in this exact same situation, two completely different thought patterns can unfold. The first pattern: the motorcyclist hears the horn and his mind creates a full movie. He thinks, "My luck is terrible. I'm stuck on this bike in this heat, while rich people in air-conditioned cars honk at me. This city is full of rude people. That guy is probably a spoiled rich kid who thinks I'm beneath him. Why am I always disrespected? Why do I always suffer?" The moment these thoughts enter his mind, his blood boils. His heart races. His hands shake. Before the light even turns green, he's already burning inside with rage. He might pull over and confront the driver. The second pattern: at the same red light, in the same heat, hearing the same horn, another motorcyclist simply observes, "Yes, it's very hot. My body is sweating. The person behind me is in a hurry, so they're honking repeatedly." No story, no interpretation, no complaint, no judgment. Just facts. Both experienced the exact same heat. Both were sweating equally. Both would be waiting the same amount of time. But the first created an internal hell through his thoughts, while the second simply experienced the moment and moved forward peacefully. We do this constantly in our daily lives. We don't see events simply and straightforwardly. We take every small event and build a massive 20-story building of assumptions, narratives, and interpretations on top of it. And within hours, we're buried under the rubble of our own peace. Think back to your childhood. Remember when you forgot to do homework or didn't study for a test? Walking to school, your heart pounded like it would burst from your chest. Your mind created an entire film. The teacher will humiliate me in front of the whole class. Everyone will laugh. I'll get punished. My parents will be called to school. I'll be beaten at home. My life is ruined. You walk to school trembling, sweating, terrified. Then you opened the classroom door and discovered the teacher was absent that day. The period was free. That entire fear, those shaking legs, that terror, what were they? A complete lie beautifully packaged by your mind. You were such a naive customer that you paid with your own peace to buy that lie. Your mind is a salesman constantly selling you cheap, stale, worthless thoughts. It advertises 24/7. Buy this fear. Take this regret. Purchase this old anger. And we're such idle customers that we treat every passing negative thought as truth and sit at that store counter, surrendering our last dollar of peace. We've made thinking our identity. But thinking is just a tool like a hammer. You use a hammer when you need it, not all day. Your mind is the same way. The problem arises when we let it run continuously and believe every thought it produces. So how do we escape this trap? First, stop believing every thought immediately. When your mind says you'll fail, don't just follow that thought. Ask yourself, is this actually true or just a thought? When your mind paints terrifying future scenarios, bring yourself back to this present moment. Look around you. Feel your breath. Ask, what actual danger exists right now in this moment? Second, don't try to stop your thoughts. Suppressing thoughts makes them stronger. Instead, observe them like cars passing on a street. You don't need to get into every car. You don't need to follow every thought. Just watch it pass. Third, start experiencing life instead of thinking about it. When you're drinking coffee, just drink coffee. When you hear a child laugh, just listen. When you're taking a walk, just feel your footsteps. Peace isn't hidden in the future. It's hidden in this present moment, which our loud chattering mind usually steals from us. According to Joseph Murphy, freedom doesn't begin when thoughts stop coming. Freedom begins when you understand that not every thought is true. You are not your thoughts. You are the one observing the thoughts. Think about your own life. There's probably a belief you've held for years, something your mind convinced you was absolutely true. Maybe it's I'm not good enough, or people don't like me, or I'll never succeed, or I'm unlucky. But here's the question. Is that actually true? Or is it just a story your mind created and sold you? In Western culture, we're taught to be rational, logical, productive. We rarely question whether the narrative our mind is selling us is actually real. We accept the anxious, worried voice as truth and build our entire lives around it. But what if most of that worry is fiction? What if that fear about your job, your relationship, your health, your future is mostly a product of your mind's constant storytelling? I'm not saying ignore genuine problems. Of course, real challenges exist. But notice how much of your suffering comes not from actual problems, but from the stories your mind tells about those problems. A real problem. Your company is downsizing. That's a fact, your mind's story. I'll definitely lose my job. I won't find another one. I'll lose my house. My family will suffer. I'm a failure. See the difference? One is reality. The other is your mind's fiction. Here's what changes everything. Start noticing the gap between what's actually happening and what your mind is saying about what's happening. That gap is where your freedom lives. When you realize that 80% of your worry is about things that never happen, about stories you invented, about futures that may never come, something shifts. The grip loosens. You start to see your thoughts not as absolute truth, but as suggestions. And you get to choose which ones to believe and which ones to let pass. This isn't about positive thinking or pretending problems don't exist. It's about seeing clearly what's real and what's just mental noise. So here's my challenge for you. Think of one fear, one worry, one belief that's been holding you back for years. Now ask yourself, is this actually true, or is it just a story my mind has been telling me? If this conversation has revealed a fear, an old story, or a thought pattern that's been imprisoning you for years, write it in the comments below. Sometimes naming it is the first step to freedom. And if you want to deeply understand human psychology, self-awareness, and the hidden lessons in transformative books in a way that's simple and engaging, stay connected with Book Insight Studio. Because our next topic might expose another silent pattern in your life that you've mistaken for truth. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts, and the moment you realize that, everything changes.